Alright, so in this video, this is going to be like an overview of what the trackball can do. So suppose we'll start off with this with the design. There's kind of two main ones. There's this one that you see here, which I'll show you here. So it looks like this. The microcontroller would go in here. Then you have a removable buttons module. Now you can print like different versions of this. At the moment there's only the triple button that's kind of mostly finished. And then this one is secured with magnets, so you know all your wires would go here then. Then this is also secured with magnets on this side. And so this would just go on top. And then the wires for it would go through the holes here and through the hole here as well. And so you would also get a little bit of adjustability, so you can like spin it around like this. You can actually see it, you know, working on the assembled mouse or the assembled trackpad. And so yeah, you can use it, you know, obviously without the buttons module. And the other version of this is this kind of single one, but as you can see it's like a lot taller, so I don't really recommend this one unless you have like a giant keyboard or something like that, because even though my keyboard is quite high up, it's still a bit too high for my hand to be comfortable. Now the design of these works is this piece, the head, is the same for all versions. So if I were to pick up the head from here, it's exactly the same, you know. So the idea here is you just print the head once, and then you can either print this body or you can print this body and then just slap the head on top. And then you can choose if you want to use the buttons. So yeah, that's kind of the idea of the design. So that way, you know, you're not stuck to one thing. You can choose whatever you want, and you can also make your own. Now, why did I do this kind of strange layout as opposed to like all the other kind of trackball balls on the market? It's because like this is the easiest way to use it, because when you put your fingers down, your thumb can very easily access these two buttons, and then your pinky finger just rests on top of this button, and so yeah, it's very easy. And then the three fingers here, they rest on the ball, and so that is very ergonomic. So in terms of features, this is just using like regular USB stuff, so it works with every OS. You don't need to, you know, have any custom drivers or anything like that. And it is using QMK, so you have you know, some good functionality there. And yeah, so there's kind of two modes, I suppose, that runs in. The first one is just standalone, so you can have, you know, trackball with nothing, or just by itself, I mean. And then you also can pair the trackball with another QMK keyboard, and with this one you can send commands over to the trackball, so you can adjust its settings and whatnot. So I'll start off by just the default standalone mode works. So by default, this button here is going to be the left click, so you can see me selecting stuff here and clicking on stuff. Now the other one is going to be the right click, and then this one serves kind of two purposes. So if you hold it down, so you see I'm holding it down, and then if I move my mouse button or if I move the trackball, you can see that I'm scrolling the page. So this is known as drag scroll. And I can also scroll sideways. So you see the way I'm scrolling sideways here. So yeah, you're basically using your ball as a scroll wheel. And as a good scroll wheel, almost like a touchpad more than a scroll wheel, I suppose. Since you can scroll, you know, in both directions, you can like scroll horizontally, or I mean diagonally, like this. So yeah, it is pretty handy. And when this button is active, you also activate another layer. So while you're pressing this, this button still remains as left click, but this button changes to middle click. And I'll show you here now. If I go into like some mouse tester, so if I press left click, you can see it there. If I press right click, you can see there. And then if I hold this mouse button, then press this thing here, you can see that it activates the middle click. So that's kind of the QMK layers kicking in. Because when you're holding this, it actually changes these buttons to a different layer, but I just left this one as the same thing. And then at the same time, while it's in the other layer, it also activates drag scroll. So that's just due to the custom QMK firmware. Yeah, so I suppose next thing now is I'll show you guys kind of stuff you can do with if you have a keyboard connected. Now, for this to work, you will need to use my QMK raw HID router software. Now this works on all operating systems, works on macOS, Linux, and Windows. And all it is just a tiny program that you download and run. And the idea behind this is, as you can see here in the diagram, the QMK keyboard here, it would send data to this program, and then this program would basically forward the data to the trackball. Now, the reason why you need this program is because this is just using the USB protocol. It's using like I customized the protocol, I suppose. It's using the extended like HID schema or whatever, where I'm sending like custom kind of packets over between these two devices. And you can't do that directly between the devices through the PC because yeah, it's just, you know, not allowed in the, oh, it's just not allowed in the spec from what I could figure out anyway. So you need like some sort of software to act as the middleman, and all this does is just literally forwards the packets from the keyboard to the trackball based on like, you know, the IDs and stuff. So I have my keyboard set up with this, and so yeah, I will show you guys what you can do with it once it's set up. So, oh yeah, before we do that, actually, I should mention that there is a file in this repo that has all the 3D printed stuff here. So, I also have, you know, just the STL files, but if you don't want to waste time kind of reading the description of the STL files, you could just download this project, open it in Bamboo Studio or something else that supports 3MF files, which should be pretty much all modern slicers, and then you will see like everything that you would want to print. So yeah, you'd print the head, you'd print the sensor holder if you want, and then all the other stuff here. So you see the body, select the tall one, and then the rest of the bodies here, they're the small one, and then here's the button module as well. So yeah, that is pretty handy. But anyway, once I fire up QMK HID router, it just looks like this. So it's just a terminal that opens up. And so here now, so for example, you can see I'm using kind of the snake LED. So I can change to some other pattern here. I can increase the brightness like so. And then you'll see like some logs here and stuff. So yeah, that's how the brightness works. I can also change the pattern. So yeah, you can see it's like different effects. I can change the hue, like so, and then I think there's also saturation. Yeah, so one of these will be saturation, then obviously the brightness and stuff. I'll just change it back to this one here. And this is my favorite one. All right. So anyway, you can also change the cursor speed. So as you can see, I'm scrolling or moving cursor like this. And if I increase this, you can see the DPI. So the QMK router, because the trackball actually sends information back to this program, kind of like an info information, and it sends like its current settings back. So this is the DPI, goes all the way up to 12,000. So that's max DPI, and as you can see, if I just move my ball a small bit, it goes like all over the place. So yeah, then there is default, and then you can obviously you know, set it minimum to 200 DPI, which makes it like really slow, so I need to move my mouse cursor a lot. Yeah, so this can be handy if you're moving from OSs, because for some reason, like macOS is just really bad. Like it takes some shite anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. Basically, the DPI is kind of like different. For Windows, you know, 600 is fine. For macOS, it's like 400 or 800. That's fine. I kind of forgot, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah, next thing is we can also change these what's known as scroll speed. So it's actually better if I reduced this all the way down. So what this means is that when you're scrolling, it's not going to skip anything. So I'll just show you here. When I'm scrolling here, you can see that I'm scrolling extremely fast, right? Which isn't, you know, great. That's at scroll speed 1. And so if I increase this to like scroll speed 15, this means that it's going to skip 15 scroll events before it actually sends it. So now if I scroll, as you can see, it's much more reasonable. So yeah, it's not like, you know, jumping around really fast. And suppose this brings us nicely to our next feature. So you see the way I can scroll horizontal. This isn't actually great for some older apps, and actually for Windows as well. For the Windows settings app, if you're using kind of like scrolling sideways, it actually kind of messes up the app. So for that reason, I'm gonna activate this option here. So this is the horizontal scroll. And by the way, you can actually minimize this thing and it will, you know, still run in the background. You don't need to, you know, have it open. I just have it open here so you guys can see like the settings and stuff. But anyway, with the horizontal scroll, now if I scroll sideways, as you can see, it doesn't scroll sideways anymore. It just scrolls up and down. And then if I were to enable that setting again, I can scroll, you know, horizontally like that. So yeah. And also, if you are printing this without the, or if you are building this without the buttons module, and you want to have the drag scrolling, you can do it via the keyboard. So as you can see, I'll bring this here. Keyboard. First of all, the keyboard actually changes the mouse cursor to a different layer. And, well, anyway, that doesn't matter. I'll go over that in a bit. But anyway, you can send another keystroke here. And then this will just make it so that you can scroll. You can use the drag scroll feature without using these buttons. So, you know, if you were to print something that looks, you know, like this, you can still use every feature of the trackball. So yeah, you can do that, or you can use, you know, the button to scroll as well. It's the exact same command basically. Another feature is, which is most of the time found in settings, is reverse scroll direction. So as you can see right now, if I want to scroll up here, I just scroll up with the ball. Then if I want to scroll down, I scroll down. Now it's kind of a bit hard to see in the terminal, but here I suppose it'll be easier. And if I were, you know, to activate the inverse scroll, okay, let me run this thing. I kind of lost the output. But anyway, now we have scroll invert on, which means that now if I scroll up, it's actually, oh wait, I don't think it's on. Yeah. So now, as you can see, so it's actually off the setting. So it's a bit backwards, but anyway, if I scroll up, as you can see, it's scrolling down. And then if I scroll down on the cursor or on the ball itself, as you can see, it's scrolling up. So that's this scroll invert thingy. So it's actually off now, which is technically not right. But then if I turn it on or off or whatever, just toggle it, then if I scroll up, then it'll, you know, scroll up, and then if I scroll down, it'll scroll down. So that's like how you want it, but I know that some Mac OS fuckers like to do it backwards, as they usually do. So yeah, you can do it just via, you know, a hotkey instead of going into the settings app and whatnot. So that is pretty cool. I should talk about the different layers. So, as you can see here, there's actually kind of 3 layers going on here. So layer 0 is just this when you have nothing pressed. You know, you have your left click, your right click, and whatnot. Oh, Jesus. And then layer 1 is when you have this thing pressed, and so this becomes, you know, middle click. Now you also have layer 2, which is like your third layer. It's when you press this button, like to activate it. So this, when I hold down the D key, this activates the trackball layer on my QMK keyboard, which allows you to send commands over to the trackball. I should have probably explained that first, but yeah, that's basically what it is. And so now that we're in layer 2, these buttons actually do something differently. They act as the back and forward buttons. So if I were to bring this thing back here, oh Jesus Christ, and then you should see the output of this as well. And so if I were to activate, you know, layer 2 and press this button, you can see the browser will go back. And then if I were to press this button, the browser will go forward. So yeah, it's, you know, nice back and forward thingy. I think this is still scroll. Yeah, so this still acts as scroll, but you can obviously map this to something else if you want in the third layer. I didn't really want anything else in the third layer, so I just left it as scroll, which is fine. So yeah, that's kind of it, I suppose. Yeah, let me see if there's anything else I want to mention or something. Yeah, I suppose I showed you all this. I showed you the cursor speed, which is the DPI, scroll speed, and scroll direction, which is the horizontal thing, and then the LED effects you can control. Yeah, so if you want to change the LED effects, you would actually need to have a keyboard at the moment, or you could somehow map it into these 3 buttons, but that's going to be it's going to be a bit of a pain. Yes, so it does use 6 LEDs here, as you can see, to create the effect. So the ball is translucent. It looks like it's solid, but it's actually a little bit see-through. So yeah, when you put it in here, all the colors, they start mixing, right? So here I'll darken the camera here, or I'll focus on the ball. And then you can see like the colors, they mix inside the ball. So that's what gives it the cool effect, and that's what the name came from, because it looks like a mana ball. Like this ball, for example, if I have my phone flashlight on here, then if I put one of these over it, you see the way it like starts lighting up and it illuminates. So that's basically the effect which is going for. So yeah, pretty cool, but pretty straightforward. Yeah, I suppose it's easy to build. There's kind of no no custom circuit boards and whatnot. Yeah, I suppose I could show you a little bit of the inside if you're curious, because it is fairly straightforward. Like, so it is using, by the way, it is using these big BTUs. These are the smoothest you can get, even though they are quite expensive. It's kind of the best you can get right now. So in here, you just have the microcontroller. So this is just the RP2040. It's the Raspberry Pi Pico. Now these are great for QMK because they have tons of memory and they're fairly cheap as well. If you buy a bunch of these on AliExpress, they're like around €3 each, maybe even less. And then the inside of the ball just looks like this. Okay, yeah, the button modules are actually kind of in the way, because when you assemble this thing, you would assemble the button module first and then you slap them on top, but it's a little bit of a pain to get them out. So but the head is secured just via magnets, and yeah, you can see just a bit of the wiring there. Okay, there we go, managed to get it out. So yeah, there's actually nothing at the bottom, just wiring. So yeah, fairly straightforward. And then here, all we have is just the LEDs are glued in, and then the sensor board is just friction fitted inside here. So that's pretty much all it is. You know, nothing really complicated going on here. So yeah, got it back into place now. Just the wires were kind of getting in the way. But yeah, the head is secured to the body with magnets as well. So yeah, it's fairly straightforward to get it out and off. So yeah, this is just friction fit because the wires are holding it in place. And then it's just USB-C. So there you go. That is fairly straightforward. Just checking if everything still works, and yeah, everything is still good. All right, and then the wrist pad, wrist resting, print this in a TPU. So I recommend this because otherwise this is still a little bit too high. And this just has like, you know, the nice curves. So it goes like, you know, straight into the thing like this. So yeah, put that there and then you'll be good. And then print this at 5%. So that way it's a little bit squishy, but not too much. Because when I'm resting my hand on it, it's, you know, still nice and firm. So yeah, I think that's all really that there is. So yeah, build it, you know, build yourself some custom button modules if you don't like these ones, and make a pull request so I can upload them. And other people, you know, hopefully other people can share designs, and that way this will be kind of like the cheapest, I suppose. Well, yeah, actually it would be the cheapest depending on what you buy, I suppose. So yeah. Alright, anyway, thank you boys for watching, and I'll see you next video.